Today, we're going to talk about happiness. Now, I want to talk about this topic because I believe that a lot of people have certain beliefs about how do we actually achieve happiness in life? How do we actually find fulfillment? How do we achieve a state where we go to bed every night with a smile on our face, feeling like we're living a life that seems perfect, like we wouldn't change a thing. But I do believe that a lot of people's perceptions about how to find happiness in the modern world is very I feel like a lot of people are brainwashed by the type of content they've been consuming, by the type of music they've been consuming, by the movies they watch that kind of shape their mind in a way that explains to them that how to find happiness in the world in this very narrow way. But it seems that despite trying to do these things that we seem is correct, we still for some reason don't seem to feel that sense of satisfaction or fulfillment in life. And you have to understand that your mind is very pliable, right? Which basically means that you don't have much control over who you are, and your environment plays a huge role in shaping you as a person, but also the beliefs you hold, right? The fact that you listen to this kind of music, the fact that you watch this kind of content controls like your mind, which is like a piece of clay that's being shaped into these certain beliefs. So you have to understand that just because you have certain beliefs that you hold very close to you doesn't necessarily mean that those beliefs are correct beliefs. And in a similar way, I believe that for most of my life, my beliefs about how to achieve happiness were very similar to like societies and societal beliefs about what you must do in order to live a fulfilling good life. And I think many of those examples of things that people pursue could include like chasing money, chasing power, chasing status, chasing these things that we believe will give us happiness, but for some reason, every time we achieve it, we don't really feel fulfilled. And I like to categorize a lot of these pursuits as like your monkey desires. And I think in my mind that helps it make a lot more sense because a lot of these things that we're fooled into believing bring us happiness come from like our evolutionary nature, that we think pleasure will bring us happiness because we're monkeys at the end of the day and we want to feel good, or we think the sugar will make us feel happy because our whole body is designed to live in a sort of like a survivalistic mechanism, that which is why we see sugar, we can't control ourselves because we think that we're still living in scarcity. But the key idea is that there's a difference between pleasure and happiness. Pleasure might stimulate you to make you happy right now, but it won't give you that sense of fulfillment that colors every single minute of your day that we can use other things to help us achieve. I like to think that stimulus, whether it be in the form of an achievement, whether it be in the form of a person, whether it be in the form of like some kind of video or dopamine or weed, whatever, any form of stimulus can only stimulate your level of happiness for a period of time, but it can't raise the baseline of your happiness, right? So the goal of today's video is to kind of discuss five key things that I believe I've changed in the last year of my life that have helped me feel more fulfilled on a day-to-day basis, that help me feel more happy, more grounded, in a way that I can go to bed each night feeling like I wouldn't have changed a thing about today. I don't have a script or anything, so I'm kind of just gonna make these up on the go, so bear with me. Um, the first thing that I'll say is quitting music. That one really changed my life. Now, it was like I heard a lot of people online and different places telling me that maybe music is not the best thing to like the type of music at least I'm listening to is not the best thing I could be doing. And especially my parents, like they spent a lot of time telling me that how the music I was listening to was trash, and they're like, oh, you do all these good things like getting good sleep and stuff, but you still listen to this trash music. And I would never like listen to them because I kind of thought, well, I love music, and I feel like music has a close place in my heart for me because there's so much music that I love. There's so many artists that I love that I feel like listening to those people make me feel so happy and so fulfilled, which can be true because some of the best memories I have are like listening to these songs with other people or while doing something. So I can understand why when I say quitting music, you have all these limiting beliefs in your mind that they're telling you that no, I can't quit music because of this reason or that reason, or how am I going to get good workouts in, or what am I going to do in the shower, like things like that. But I urge you to just keep listening along because I had these same limiting beliefs before, but over time I've come to realize that this one is like, I'm putting this in the first one in the video because this is the biggest one. I can tell you all these other small things, but if you're really looking for that one thing that will give you as much results as you want, it's just to remove the music. Now, why is that? Well, to go on my story first, over the summer, I I guess I just naturally stopped listening to as much music because the key times when I would listen to music were in the gym and in the shower, especially like in spring term when I was here at Petty, which is a school I go to. But well, when I was at home, I was living with my parents at the time, because my dad would always want to come live with me. And usually at Petty, when I was here before, I'd live by myself, so I'd tune in some music. But now that we're getting lifts in together, I'd just be talking to him instead of listening to music. So over the summer, I naturally stopped listening to music in the gym. And the second thing is that I was at home, so I didn't want to be blasting my music like in my bathroom at home. So I kind of just stopped listening to music there. And because of that, I'd often realize going like weeks and weeks without listening to music. But the thing is, I never thought of music as a bad thing at the time. So I would still listen whenever I was like I felt like listening to a song, so I turn it on type thing, or I'm driving somewhere, I'll throw in some good music. But so then again, it's still in my life, but it's slowly over the summer starting to diminish and decrease until I come back here for my fall term, my senior year, and I kind of decided that in the month of September I want to go the entire month without listening to music, which was like the challenge I set for myself because I knew in the back of my mind that it might be a bad thing. I knew in the back of my mind that okay, maybe we should try it out and see the difference. And since I was already like not listening to as much music, I figured why should I come back to Petty and just start listening to music in the gym again? Why should I just start throwing it up in the shower again? So, um, I went the whole month without listening to music in September. And to be honest, September was a great month in my life. I felt very fulfilled. But at the time, didn't correlate the sense of fulfillment I felt with quitting music, right? Because I just thought, okay, like life is great right now, so that's part of the reason why I feel so good. And then after October long weekend, I decided, okay, it's been a while, let's tune into music. And I decided I'd give myself like a 1 week period where I'm allowed to listen to music. So in that 1 week, I come back to Petty and I allow myself to listen to music. And at the same time, although I didn't correlate the reason for this with the fact that I started listening to music, I noticed my mental disposition return to a state that it had been in the past, where like it's constantly colored by this tone of anxiety. It's constantly like stressed out about random shit. It's constantly worried about shit. It's like, and also a lot of like the desires, desires I call the monkey desires, right? Return to me, right? The desires of chasing a sense of validation, the desires of chasing a sense of status, right? Those things returned to me during that week as well, and I was confused. I was confused because how come September was this fulfilling month where I felt great? How come in this 1 week in October, all these desires and all this pain and all this is coming back to me again? And then music week's over, and it's so fast how quickly I returned to that peaceful state of mind that I had in September. And then I said to myself, wow, was it really just the music? And I thought to myself, what was it about music that made such a big change in my life? And upon reflecting on this for a few days, I realized, well, it makes sense. And I think there are a few different reasons why. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but they can all be reasons, they can not be reasons, I don't know. But from my understanding, these are the key reasons what music does to you on a day-to-day basis. I think the first thing is that a lot of the joy in life comes from enjoying the mundaneness of life, right? I talk about this in a podcast that's coming soon, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but just enjoying walking to class and enjoying the breeze, just enjoying sitting there in your room and not doing anything, just enjoying those moments in the day where you have nothing to do. Yet we tend to try to block out as much of the mundaneness as possible with things like going on our phone, like playing video games, like listening to music, which is a big one for me because instead of enjoying like the warm shower I take at the end of the day before I sleep, I would be listening to music during the shower, right? Instead of enjoying the workout, I'd be stimulating myself when working out, so I won't even get as good of a workout. It's surprising that actually when you quit music, you get better workouts after a period of time when you like remove that addiction. But the key thing is that all these minutes of the day where I can just be present, I can just be enjoying life in those moments, I was stimulating myself. And while those moments where I stimulated myself felt great, all the other moments of the day felt bad because now your brain is kind of comparing that. I think the degree to which your life feels mundane is the degree to which you stimulate yourself, right? But when you remove the stimulation, your baseline increases, and that's the thing that I think was the main driving force for number one reason why I think what music did to me. The second thing is that when you don't have the music to stimulate you when you're walking to class, when you're in the shower, you just tend to like start thinking about stuff, and you start to go more deep in thought. And while overthinking might be a bad thing, I think just being deep in thought and understanding your thoughts and watching your mind is a great thing because it helps you to understand who you are to a much greater degree, which I'll talk more about in the second thing as well, which because that one goes into it as well a little bit more. But the idea that you have moments in the day where you're just watching your mind and just observing like what your genuine desires are, the more and more your actions will reflect your deepest wisdom, because now you know that um, what is the best way to live, instead of like stimulating yourself and blocking out all those moments where your brain is trying to talk to you, and then you're kind of confused because it's a weird sense where like you're doing these things but they don't seem to align with your deepest wisdom. Just eliminating the stimulation can allow you to do that. And the third thing is just the content of the music, right? Now this might not be the case for everyone, but I listen to a lot of like modern rap music, whatever. And I think I noticed that a lot of the desires that propped up all out of nowhere in that one week, where like I want to start chasing validation again, like I have done in the past, but I felt like I finally escaped from that. But for some reason in that week, I felt like it all returned to me. It's just very correlated with just imagine like you're tuning in to guys that are literally just yelling in your mind about all the money they make, all the girls they fuck. Like obviously your desires will reflect that. So those are the three reasons why I think quitting music changed my life. Number two is just actually we'll move that one. Let's do physical discomfort first, right? Also I think this is a big one. I think the thing with physical discomfort is that there's two reasons why I think physical discomfort is very good for your mind and your mental state of being. Usually when we have bad mental health, it's usually because of two reasons. One, we have anxiety or we have depression. Depression can be colored by like a sense of hopelessness, that my life sucks and there's nothing I can do about it. Anxiety is more worry about future events, right? Now, for me, my main problem that I tend to fall back into every now and then is anxiety, where I'll start stressing about some shit in the future. And I think we're all like slightly anxious these days, even though we don't like to say that, but the truth is you're stressing about the next test, you're stressing about like your social life, you're stressing about so much shit. And usually we tend to stress about shit from the future because we have nothing to deal with right now. But when you're dealing with something physically discomfort right now, like you're in that really difficult sports practice right now, you're going to stop thinking about all the bullshit in the future. You're going to think about right now, what do I need to do? And when you're out there, like for me, it's wrestling, right? When I'm wrestling someone, I'm not thinking about the math test or whatever. Like I'm thinking about like I have someone I have to fight who's right in front of me, right? And because of that, it gives your mind a break, because your mind cannot waste any precious time or resources stressing about some shit in the future. It's focused on like right now. It's grounding you in the present moment, and that's what physical discomfort does. It allows you to be present. If I go to a 2-hour wrestling practice, I'm basically giving my mind a 2-hour rest break, and the effects of that last for like the next 24 hours for me. Like after practice, I feel so peaceful. I feel like wow, and that's like in the times where like I'm really like in wrestling season right now is when I feel the highest level of gratitude for life, the highest level of peace and mental state. And there have been periods of time where I don't wrestle and don't do as much physical discomfort, and I could see that my mental state might be good, but it's not as great as it could have been when it was in season. Right now, I did wrestle in the off season. I think in fall term, I was wrestling like 3 times a week, so I still kind of felt the effect. That was spring term, but right now in fall term, I'm not wrestling as much, like maybe 1 or 2 times a week, so you can kind of see the difference, right? When I wrestle, I feel great in the days that follow. If I go 3-4 days without wrestling, you can see the difference. But I highly recommend you bring some form of physical discomfort in your life, some kind of training that's hard, right? I think the gym can work if it's hard, but I think for the most of us, like gym isn't like if you've been working out for like 3 years, like the gym is not going to be hard for you anymore. It's low-key like fun. And if you can incorporate something that's actually challenging, like you can be honest with yourself and know like what is your actual edge, and being honest about it, and being like how hard can you really push yourself, and finding something that allows you to unlock that. Like for me, I hate runs, so if I really need something that can physically just make me just like uncomfortable in the off season, rather than going on a lift, it might be better for my mind if I went on a run instead. But yeah, that's the first reason why. Well, that's actually the main reason, right? I think physical discomfort unlocks the gratitude for life, because your brain can also contrast those hours where you feel horrible to the hours where you feel other hours in the day, and it makes you appreciate things a lot more. So yeah, second thing I'd say, add some physical discomfort in your life. Third thing I would say is solitude. Again, I talk a lot about these things on episode 5 of the podcast is going to be released not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. So you might want to peep that. But yeah, solitude is a good one, because when I say solitude, I don't mean you need to always be alone, but you can't always be around other people. Now, some people don't have this problem and they spend a decent amount of hours in the day by themselves, but some people, like I've had a problem in the past where I'm addicted to spending time with people, and I think I want to bring this up because it might relate to you. So like if I look back to last year, I'm always around other people because I'm obsessed with the validation they bring and make me feel good. But the problem is that you don't act in an authentic way when you're around other people, because you're acting in ways to elicit positive responses in them. I go into a lot more detail about this afterwards, so you can check that podcast out. But if you're always spending your day acting in ways to, you don't do this consciously, by the way. I'm not saying that you go out there and you're trying to act in a persona or something, but even if you're just acting, you feel like you're acting like yourself, you're not, because I want you to think about, do you act in the same way around your history teacher as you would your parent, as you would your best friend? Like, no. You act around different ways around different people because you're always trying to elicit positive responses in them. And because of that, you're never acting in accordance with your deepest wisdom, right? Again, we face the problem where your actions are not aligned with your wisdom. So for me, like, I think it's important to incorporate some kind of ritualized solitude in the day. Whether it be like, okay, I'm gonna sit, and usually doing some activity associated with it helps it to like formalize it as a habit, right? That whether it be like, I know one of my friends, he likes to pray twice a day, right? So he has that ritualized block, once in the morning, once in the evening, where he knows, like, I don't know, for like 30 minutes each block, he's gonna be by himself and watching his own mind. Like for me, like, okay, I choose to meditate for 20 minutes a day. I choose to journal for an hour in the evening. I choose to go on a walk for 30 minutes. These like ritualized solitudes throughout the day allow you to just know your thoughts well, right? If you don't have a period of time where you can listen to yourself, you're never gonna know what your authentic desires are and what you actually want from life. And if you don't know what you want from life authentically, not like the bullshit you consume on media that puts a service level, yeah, I want this, but when you're allowed to look at inward and see those authentic desires, that is what can unlock you to find greater happiness. So think about ways you can incorporate ritualized solitude in your day. Like if you say that, okay, I'm gonna spend an hour in my evening by myself doing a certain activity that allows me to watch my mind, like I'll go on a 1 hour walk or whatever, then it's totally fine to spend the rest of the days with people you love, right? I think one of the best ways to live a good life is to just find the activities that bring you the most joy and find people who also enjoy those activities and do it with them, and spend like all your hours in the day doing those activities and do that every single day for as long as possible to the best of your degree. So while I'm not saying that you should always be alone, you should incorporate periods in the day where you can be alone. And I think this primarily goes out to those people that struggle with the desire to always be around other people. So that's 3. 4th one, I'll say delete social media. This is one I did a while back, so I think this is probably like one of the first big ones I changed summer going into my junior year. So that was like a while back, 2022 summer. So right now, November 2023. But yeah, that's a big one. I think there's hundreds of reasons why. I think the first one, this is more about your phone in general, but it goes back to the idea that you're always stimulating yourself, right? That we talk about with music is the same thing with phone usage, right? If you're coloring all the moments, all the mundaneness of your day with stimulation, then you'll never be able to go deep and just feel gratitude for life. So the first is just the idea that you're always on it throughout the day, and like these small increments that kind of make your life like worse. But I guess since we already talked about that piece of it with the music, we can talk more about like the other effects it has on your mind, right? I think it has you just be consuming so much information that's useless, and you have limited brain power to use in the day. And to me, it's important that you dedicate as much of your brain power as possible to your highest purpose, right? If you have, let's say, like I'm gonna make a little analogy here, like with math units to make more sense. Let's say you have 10,000 units of brain power, right? Your goal should be to dedicate as much of those 10,000 units of brain power into your highest purpose, right? Like for me, that's, if I'm thinking like very long term, it's to have a big family, it's to have good health, like really optimal superhuman health, to have to work a job I love, right? So for me, I want to dedicate as much of those 10,000 brain points as possible toward the podcast, toward making sure that I'm fulfilled every single day, to make sure that I'm spending time with people I love. I want to dedicate as much of the brain power to that. So why would I just waste like 3,000 points of my brain power on just scrolling on Instagram, just seeing these funny memes, seeing other people's who are pretty much irrelevant. Like if they're not like in front of you, it doesn't matter what they're doing. To be honest, like I think we tend to create a very artificial social life through social media. I guarantee if you like deleted it, like a lot of those friendships would go away. And I think that's a good thing because the goal of life should not be to have as many friends as possible. The goal of life should be to have as many, to actually like have fewer friendships, but to have more stronger friendships, right? You don't want like these transient bonds with people. You want like more stronger bonds. So deleting social media helps you to eliminate all the useless shit that you don't need on your day-to-day basis, like those useless thoughts that kind of cloud your mind, and so you have more thoughts dedicated to your deepest purpose. And also just because you don't need to know about what other people are doing, like you can go in person and do those things with them instead of just trying to see what's up with people. Like people think that if they don't know what's happening, they'll be like outcasted. They'll feel like, oh my god, what if I don't know things? But they're all again just limiting beliefs. They're not actually real beliefs. Like just these apps have been designed to make you feel that way. These apps have been designed to target like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like the fact that you strongly desire a tribe. They design the app, everything in the app, from the color of the notification to the sound it makes, is programmed to make you feel as if you delete the app, you'll lose your tribe. But I guarantee you, just delete it, just give it a few months, and you'll notice that your relationships are better, stronger when they're in person rather than all like fucking online.